Today is the last part of moon house placements. That is moon in the 7th house. Exactly 1 month ago, I started with moon in the 6th house, and now I am ending with moon in the 7th house. Coincidentally, today is also Makar Sankranti. I want to wish all my close followers and listeners a very happy Makar Sankranti. 7th house moon native is always appealing to the society. He has that charismatic personality through which he becomes popular in his community. He is that person who is willing to stand up and fight for a cause. He is that kind of person who loves to live his life by being yourself. In this 20 minutes podcast, I will share more on moon in the 7th house. So let's begin. Talk to me, deal with me is the subtle essence of moon in 7th house placement. The native is a go-getter and is more than willing to step ahead and lead the pack. He or she is the wolf. Always remember, the leader of the pack is never the loudest. Native with moon in 7th house simply wants to deal with the opposition or opposite party and emerge as a deal maker. And he simply loves to become a hero in the eyes of the general public. So with this placement, you will find a labor union leader, opposition party leader who represents his people and works towards getting justice for his people, and is also a very ambitious politician. In a way, this placement does give birth to a dashing person whose primary aim is to shine in the eyes of the public. And if other planetary aspects are positive, then many times this person succeeds in becoming a dynamic, popular leader who just by lifting his or her hand can drive the masses towards a certain mission, a certain goal. Reminds me of our late Prime Minister, Srimati Indira Gandhi. In her birth chart, moon is placed in the 7th house, and she indeed was one of the most popular Prime Minister of India. 7th house moon native is very strong in dealing with his or her opponents. In fact, the native takes great interest in defeating the opponent. In a way, defeating the enemies or opponents satisfies his or her ego. Remember, moon is mind, mind is ego. And so here, in the abode of 7th house, the ego is much centered in achieving victory over the opponents. Indira Gandhi not only was able to defeat her political rivals, but also was able to defeat Pakistan during the 1971 India-Pakistani war. Although she indeed was a great politician, the very idea of becoming a hero in the eyes of the public led her to the greatest mistake of her life, the mistake of ordering the Indian army to enter the Golden Temple, to remove the Sikh militants from the complex. The Indian army used heavy artillery, including tanks, in the action code named Operation Blue Star. The operation badly damaged or destroyed parts of the temple complex, including the Akal Takht shrine and the Sikh library. It also led to the deaths of many Sikh fighters and innocent pilgrims. The number of casualties remains disputed, with estimates ranging from many hundreds to many thousands. Harjinder Singh Dilgir, the only man and author who has written complete history of the Sikhs in 10 volumes and in 3716 pages, and has translated Guru Granth Sahib in English. This man, such a learned man, accused Indira Gandhi in the following words. He quotes, Indira attacked the temple complex to present herself as a great hero in order to win the general elections planned towards the end of 1984. This is exactly what I mentioned in the very beginning, that the native loves to project himself or herself as a hero, and many a time in this mad pursuit ends up making some grave mistakes for which they have to pay heavily. Indira Gandhi also had to pay heavily for her mistake. She was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards exactly after 5 months of the Golden Temple incident. Here is a quick look at Indira Gandhi's birth chart. As you can see, her moon is placed in the 7th house in a highly political sign Capricorn, Uttarashadha Nakshatra. She was born with Ashlesha Nakshatra rising, a typical Mercurian Nakshatra, which is also highly dangerous and political by nature. This placement ideally signifies a public figure. However, it all depends on the overall quality of the horoscope. Always remember, a placement or a conjunction may have the potential, but whether it will fructify to the fullest is based on many other aspects of the horoscope in question. The great US President Jimmy Carter also has this placement. His moon is in the 7th house. Jimmy Carter was also awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2002. One of the significant quotes of US President Jimmy Carter is, "We will not learn how to live together in peace by killing each other's children." To establish peace, you need to be a good deal breaker. Only then can you become a good peacemaker. 7th house moon has such a potential that it can give birth to great peacemakers. The Nobel Peace Prize winner, former US President Jimmy Carter, is just one example of this placement. One peculiar trademark of this placement is that the spouse always is found to be of caring nature. The spouse of the native is just like a mother or a father. And so if this moon is not aspected by Rahu or Ketu or Mars or Saturn, then it is a perfect placement that signifies a beautiful caring marriage partner. Even today, the former US President Jimmy Carter enjoys the support and love of his wife, Rosalind Smith Carter. Today, at the age of 90, this couple continues to build homes for the homeless. That's so sweet of them. Here is a beautiful picture of Jimmy Carter with his wife. Jimmy Carter, 96 years old, with his wife, who is also around 94 years old, building homes for the homeless. The thought that I also owe back to the society which gave me so much in return is always on the back of their mind. Their fundamental philosophy is to give back to the society which gave them so much. They are good community leaders. Always remember, we have an obligation to give something back to the community that gives so much to us. Sharing, caring, reaching out to the community, serving the community, and thereby becoming a leader who leads the pack is a trait of this placement. These natives are not interested in sitting back, but rather standing up for a cause, fight for the cause, and leading from the front. They indeed are the front leaders. Their slogan is, I don't follow the pack, I lead it. Seventh house moon often brings great interest in sex. These folks are driven by the opposite sex. A man with this placement will get easily attracted by a sexy, beautiful woman, and a woman with this placement will also get attracted towards a handsome, charming man. Rarely do we see that a man or woman with this placement is denied marriage or marital happiness. Opportunities to enjoy sex also comes several times in their life. In certain cases, extramarital love affair is also not ruled out. However, if moon is with Ketu in the 7th house, then the native is unable to provide sexual satisfaction to his partner. Early ejaculation or premature ejaculation is a common symptom of this placement. Moon Ketu placement in the 7th house does not make the man impotent. He may get hard when he sees a nude woman, but he fails when the real act of sex is in play because he ejaculates too soon, leaving their sexual partner unsatisfied. However, when moon is alone or when moon is with Rahu or Mars in the 7th house, then such a man wants sex all the time. He has absolutely no problem in satisfying the sexual wants of his wife or his girlfriend. One peculiar result of Moon Ketu conjunction in the 7th house is that during the actual sexual act, at the very last moment when the bed partner is about to attain orgasm, the native ejaculates, thus leaving the bed partner in much dissatisfaction and short of attaining orgasm. However, when moon is well placed in the 7th house, abundance of sexual pleasure is promised. If the horoscope is really good, then the marriage partner is more than enough to satisfy the native's sexual wants, thus leading to a fruitful, happy marriage life. Always remember, sex is not marriage. However, sex is a part of marriage. It is said that sexual touch is the dessert of married life. Dessert is the sweet course eaten at the end of a meal, such as a sweet pudding. Similarly, sex is a sweet course that strengthens the marriage life. Moon in 7th house is always against the ruling party or against the prevailing laws of the land. Vladimir Lenin was also against the Russian monarchy. He was a Russian revolutionary, a politician, and the man who became the ruler of Russia. Under his administration, Russia became a one-party socialist state governed by the Soviet Communist Party. As a Marxist, he developed a variant of communist ideology known as Leninism. Vladimir Lenin had his moon in the 7th house. Just like Indira Gandhi, he too was born with Ashlesha Nakshatra rising. Ashlesha Nakshatra indeed is a dangerous nakshatra, a serpent that can either suck poison out of the system or insert poison in the system. Indira Gandhi also became a dictator when she declared emergency in India. And Vladimir Lenin anyhow was a dictator, a communist dictator who ruled over Russia. Many critics accused him of establishing a totalitarian dictatorship and ordering political repression and mass killings. Here is a quick look at Vladimir Lenin's birth chart. As you can see, Moon is with Ketu in the 7th house. Ketu simply cuts all the boundaries that suffocates the society. Lenin revolutionized the Russian society by legalizing abortion and also made it free for factory workers. He gave equal status to children born in or out of wedlock. Marriage became secular, Divorce was simplified and streamlined. Sex outside wedlock was destigmatized, and male homosexuality was decriminalized. Soviet Russia, under the communist leadership of Lenin, made many such laws that were quite modern and unconventional by nature. The third US president, Thomas Jefferson, was also born with a moon in the 7th house, and so does the 37th US president, Richard Nixon. Overall, this placement is very social by nature. The person cannot sit in a corner but will stand up and lead the pack, especially if a moon is well aspected in the birth chart. This placement signifies a fighter who loves to fight but hates to give up. So such a native usually never give up, and because he never give up, he is able to rise to the occasion and help his community, his countrymen. This placement thus gives birth to a true warrior. Always remember, a true warrior never give up. Only a true warrior can walk on the spiritual path, because the path of spirituality is far more challenging than the path of this material world. On the path of spirituality, everything has to be kept on stake. You need to be a great gambler. You need to be a great risk taker. A businessman cannot become a warrior because a businessman is always calculative by nature. And because a businessman cannot become a warrior, he also cannot progress on the spiritual path unless and until he drops his calculative head. Always remember, businessman means a quality of the mind which is always bargaining, trying to give less and get more. That's what it means when you say businessman. Trying to give less and get more, always bargaining, always thinking about profit. A warrior is again a quality of the mind, the quality of the gambler, not of the bargainer, the quality which can stake everything this way or that, a non-compromising mind. Always remember, if a businessman thinks of enlightenment, he thinks of it as a commodity, like many other commodities. He has a list, he has to make a big palace, he has to purchase this and that, and in the end, he has to purchase enlightenment also. But enlightenment is always the last. When everything is done, then when nothing remains to be done, then. And that enlightenment is also to be purchased because he understands only money. There was one such businessman, and he was a billionaire, the richest man of the town, and he came to Mahavira. Mahavira means a warrior who has conquered himself. And so the rich businessman came and said to Mahavira, I have been hearing so much about meditation, about dhyan, and during the time you have been here, you have created a craze in people. Everybody is talking about meditation, about dhyan. What is meditation? How much does it cost? And can I purchase it? Mahavira hesitated. So the man said, don't you think about the cost at all. You simply say, and I will pay. There is no problem about it. How to talk to this man? Mahavira was at a loss as to what to say to him. Finally, Mahavira said, you go. In your town, there is a man, a very poor man. He may be willing to sell his meditation. He has achieved, and he is so poor that he may be ready to sell it. The man thanked Mahavira, and he rushed to the poor man, knocked on his door, and said, how much do you want for your meditation? I want to purchase your meditation. The man started laughing. He said, You can purchase me, that's okay. But how can I give you my meditation? It's a quality of my being. It is not a commodity. But businessmen have always been thinking in this way. They donate to purchase. They create temples to purchase. They give, but their giving is never a giving. It is always to get something. It is an investment. Shallow people come and ask, "What will you gain out of meditation?" Once a woman said to me, "I am interested to know about my future, but please don't tell me anything about meditation, because what will I gain from meditation?" This is how shallow people are. Their whole life is an economy, a calculation of how much money came inward and how much money went outward. Sometimes I feel sorry for such shallow men and women who are constantly after gaining something. A warrior is not after gain. A warrior is after a peak of experiencing. When two warriors fight with a sword, they have absolutely no time to think. They fight in the stage of no mind. This no mind is the stage of Buddha. When you live your life by being a warrior, you have all the possibilities of becoming a Buddha. Because at one time, Gautam Buddha was also a great warrior. He was a prince, a Kshatriya. He was Prince Siddharth. Always remember, a businessman's calculative head cannot help you attain God experience. God is the greatest risk, and through mathematics you will not reach. Only through taking the ultimate risk, putting everything that you have at stake, can you reach God. And you don't know the unknown. The known you risk, and the unknown you don't know. A warrior can put everything on stake. He can risk, he can jump first and think later. On the spiritual path, the master seeks such warriors and not businessmen. Always remember, don't be cunning minds. No child is ever a businessman. A businessman is a cunning mind. No child is ever a businessman. And it is difficult to find an old man who is not a businessman. Every child is a warrior and every old man is a businessman. How every warrior becomes a businessman is a long story. The whole society, education, culture, conditioning makes you more and more fearful, afraid. You cannot take a risk, and everything that is beautiful is risky. Love is a risk. Life is a risk. God is a risk. A good quality birth chart with a moon in the 7th house can actually give birth to a great warrior, a great revolutionary who has the daring to follow his heart, who has the daring to fight for his community, and who has the daring to live his whole life by being yourself. And because these natives can live by being yourself, they can change the world for good. This world therefore need social reformers, social activists, social revolutionaries, and motivational leaders who can make this beautiful planet a better place to live. Always remember, by being yourself, you actually change the world. And so the message is simple. Continue to be different, be unique, be yourself. Embrace your weirdness, sing the song of your heart, and live your life to the fullest. A man becomes beautiful the moment he accepts himself in totality. Accept yourself. You are beautiful. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.